How are you doing today, Mr. Wyatt? My name is Gary Yoder, and today my problem is dealing with coral bleaching slash the destruction of corals around the world. The one main reason that I'm personally very interested or have this issue very close to heart is I do like the aquarium hobby. I'm very fond of it. I'm currently in the freshwater, but I have been part of the coral and saltwater before, so I've always really enjoyed it. And I just always had a huge love of the ocean since I was little. Like different things about it just really struck home. Like for the fact that when I lived down in South Florida, my dad would take me out on the boat all the time. We'd go snorkeling, we'd go through these reefs where there would be abundance of life, colors, everything, and it was just absolutely beautiful. And the one downside now is that a lot of corals and reefs around the world are being bleached, and what that means is the corals are letting go of their zooplankton. I want to say that's what they're called. So they're getting rid of all their colors, and they're essentially dying and being bleached out, so they're turning to skeleton white. And the reason why this is so dire of a situation is it really does affect the whole world. Like, not, just because reef systems only cover 1% of the ocean floor, they own 25% of marine wildlife within them, around 2 million species. And just losing all that would actually be a travesty, because just the biodiversity of the ocean is just so abundant and amazing. The fact that we lose that is just horrendous, and then that would mean less fishes for me. So that's also a downside. But a huge thing about it is the fact that humans are causing it due to carbon emissions going so high that it raises the global temperature, and also making it so coral reefs are, and the water level is reaching to a point where coral reefs can't sustain that type of temperature, so they bleach themselves out because they're too stressed and die. And with the destruction of reefs, we are getting rid of, like, I believe it's half a billion people around the world who depend on coral reefs, that depend on coral reefs for food and all that. I want to say that was by NOAA. I'm not even going to say it, but NOAA. I'm pretty sure you know who they are. But yes, that's crazy. Like, they were like NOAA. Most of my facts are from NOAA because they're really one of the few people who really talk about it. I know Nat Geo does, but the fact that it's just, my mind's racing a little too fast. The projections that were done around 20 years ago, and people thought they were too crazy and all this stuff. They didn't think global warming was really a thing, and some people still don't, which is a travesty. But the fact that even back then they predicted what would be happening now, and the fact that it is happening makes it really bad. And the fact that in around 30 years we're going to lose most of our reefs, and by 2100 all reefs will be gone for sure, but most will be gone by 2050, mid-century. And it's because of just where we're headed, and we need to fix it, because reefs stop everything from erosion, storm surges, and so many other things. And again, it's just a huge part of the earth, and I believe that we should be protecting it. But in conclusion, I really feel that we need to protect our environment. I know that reefs are not a huge thing for most people, but for everyone, if you ever go to one, you'll immediately fall in love. And it's just something that I've always held dear, and I think that we do need to save the reefs and everything else. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a lovely day.